who intend to save with the Susu Club, you know, even if you went to a Susu Club to give your money, you have to engage members of that club. So it's the same way with the bank. If you intend to take a loan from the bank, the first thing you do is to engage the bank, have a relationship with with the bank by opening an account. You go to the customer service and you probably ask, how can I how can I open an account with this bank, or how can I obtain a loan from this bank? And they will tell you that firstly you have to open an account at that bank where you might have several transactions, and then based on that you can apply for a personal loan. Personal loan who mean maybe salary, or something to do with your individual business or something. So to secure that loan, you apply to the bank. Once your transactions are moving, maybe you have some several deposits, withdrawals, and what have you. We have given we got know your customer, so the bank have to know you more based on your cash flow, or your income level or something. So once you have your statement of account, maybe you depositing, withdrawing, where you work, you give them your address, they know more about you, you can apply for that loan. And
go ahead.
And based upon that, the bank will request other documents that they will take into consideration, to review your documents. So with that, the central bank does not go into, know what the banks have to request for.
Okay.
We are not at that level. But I think other charges will come in with insurance, processing of the loan. Maybe they will do enhanced due diligence on you and more, to understand more about what you intend to do. You will explain to them what you intend to do with the loan, and then maybe they will do further background check to see. And then where we come in is when they come to the central bank to obtain your credit check on you, or credit record on you. Maybe you have been engaged with another bank, or another microfinance institution or something. Maybe you got credit there, and you have not settled it. Maybe it has gone bad. I will go down so the public can better understand. Maybe your loan has gone bad, and you have not been paying that loan to another institution. So when they come to the central bank for credit check on you, we will respond to the bank and let them know that you owe an institution, and maybe what you owe you have not paid to that institution. So then we'll tell them that the bank will decide based on what, if your credit status is delinquent. The bank must not give you a loan if it's delinquent. But if it's in a current status, the bank can decide whether they can give you the loan or not. So that's where the central bank comes in.
So someone can.
I just wanted to add
okay.
I just wanted to add a few things, like Dr. Raylan was saying. So if it changes, she said we don't get involved at that point, but it depends the bank. All banks get their own policies. Some will say have relationship with us for 6 months, so that they will know you. That's the key what she was talking about. Or some will say 12 months, and then how you put money into your account, how money goes out, is also important for the bank, because in giving you a loan, they would make determination on your repayment based on your cash flow, money that goes into your account, money that comes out of your account, and that will also determine how much in terms of the amount that they can give you as loan.
Yeah.
So no one can just walk from the street and say go to a bank and apply for a loan and get it.
Absolutely not. You have to have account relationship with the bank. The bank has to know you, and this is a requirement. Bank getting to know you. KYC, know your customer. This is important because you have to make sure that this person is not a criminal, or the money the person is getting is not being generated. It's not a proceeds of criminal activities. That's money laundering. So we want to make sure that You know the person you're dealing with, so the person is not involved with money laundering. That is important.
So how come then we still have the question of bad loans when all of these procedures are in place, the credit reference check and all that? How come people still go to the banks and take loans and they don't pay? Because you would have thought that because of the credit reference and all of the checks that are put in place, you would not have that situation of bad loans.
Absolutely, but there are several factors that actually responsible that lead to bad loans. I can tell you one thing, Mr. Badio. There are customers of the bank here in this country that have taken loan from the bank. They have they have the financial resources. They are very capable of paying, but they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay. And now the bank has a recourse to go to the court, to go to the law. So when the bank goes to the law, some of them, they are lawyers. We start to drag the case. And there are so many people listening to us, they are lawyers. Some of the lawyers will, what they will do, end the case. So sometimes the process for adjudicating, the lawyers will deliberately drag the case to the extent that it takes forever to resolve it. There are other people that will take loan and they will be performing, they will be paying their loans regularly. But because of bad business, probably the business did not go as they expect, then they don't have the cash flow to pay back. Some of these people still make efforts. There are other people who take the loan, and that's a mindset of some of our people. There are other people that take loans from some banks and say, well, that's government money.
Wow.
Some people think that way. So there are several factors, including even analysis for some of these customers. If I'm an employee of the bank, you went for loan, I should be able to make determination based on my relationship with you to see how much you are capable of paying at the end of the month. I should not take all of your money. If you're a salary employee, for example, or you make it business, or your earnings, I should not take it because you need some of the money for other expenses. That's why they've got a policy. The labor ministry has a policy, especially for staff loan, that staff should not be exposed to loan more than 33% of their salary. So you got some to settle your business. But some people also don't mind that law. They take more than what they can really earn. So as a result, they are not able to pay all of the money they're supposed to pay, and that will also lead to bad loans.
And sometimes, let me just come in, Sarah. Sometimes they take the loan and they divert. You know, they state the reason for the loan, or are taking this loan to do business, and then you see that they divert. Like someone took loan and they went and built a house.
Yeah.
How will you take a bank loan and take the loan and go and build your house when you took that loan to do a business? So how can you repay that loan? What are you depending on? Because you are depending on the cash flow from the business. And then you took the loan and started to build. And then in the event, the bank claims the house. I know a case like that.
But I just wanted to say one thing.
Okay.
So Central Bank, what we are doing currently, we're making sure that all those that are borrowing from the banks and they don't want to pay, besides going to court, which is a recourse to the banks, there are other
that's
things.
a court thing, the last resort.
Yes, but there are other things we also want to do because, there are people who borrow from one bank, they fail to pay at this bank, but they're doing transaction with the other bank.
Yeah.
So you cannot be benefiting from the system in one area and then you undermine the system in another area. So what we are doing, and this is a caveat to all those who have borrowed and they don't want to pay. Central Bank has a regulation that stops you from dealing with the financial system altogether. And we will not hesitate to evoke that. So that bad people that undermine the financial system, they should not deal with it. If you want to do your business well in the sky, it's up to you. But you cannot take loan from one bank, you can't pay, and then you want to benefit from the services of other financial institutions. Because those that are failing to pay, they are not just only affecting the bank, because that bank, the money the bank gave these borrowers, that depositor money, you and myself money, other people in the street money, those Yana boys that will spend the whole night selling their money. So if you fail to pay that, these people money you have refused to pay, and that will affect the central bank, the image of the central bank. And central bank is for the country, would not allow anything to affect the image of the central bank. Absolutely. And this is a serious matter.
This actually must be a headache for the regulator or the commercial banks as well. Well, let's go to one of the issues of which consumers complain about. The issue that they have extra charges whenever they receive the monthly bank statements. One would have thought that when a consumer goes in to apply for a loan, there should be what they call full disclosure of all terms and conditions under which a loan is being applied for. Isn't that so, Director Williams?
Yeah, sure. The central bank regulation, our consumer protection and market conduct regulation, has a provision there wherein we have a form that meets the consent of every borrower. So if you went to a bank for a loan, they have to give you that form. That form was attached on our regulation. That form is called a truth in lending form. That form it highlights all aspects of your loan transactions. Everything on that loan pertaining to charges, repayment schedules, everything, it highlights it. So with the consent of the customer has to sign on that form that indeed he read that form concerning all charges, which is full disclosure of the loan concerning that loan that he wants to take. So with all that form, the central bank has the right to maybe fine a bank. If we went in the bank and we realize that the form is not in a loan file, we have the right to fine the bank, because it's mandatory on the banks that they have the customer consent with the loan.
And how do you ensure that the commercial banks are indeed providing such information, full disclosure to consumers?
Well, the consumer protection unit, that's where it comes in now. They conduct target exams.
Okay.
Yeah, the last target exam was done in 2018 of all banks. So we conduct target exam of these banks to ensure that they have those forms in the loan files.
Dr. Dunson, you wanted to
Yes,
chip
I
in?
just
Yeah.
wanted to add, like Mrs. Williams mentioned, right? So sometimes you go to the bank, customer go to the bank, and they give you all of these forms. Don't just sign off on them. It's good to go through them, read them. But many times when people
They are
go,
just so bulky, man. The whole
yes,
book volume.
and you don't have to sit there to sign. You go to a bank, I want to open an account, please give me account opening form, or I want a loan, give me all of the loan documentation. In fact, you get it right if you have a lawyer to show it to your lawyer. If you have a financial advisor, to show it to a financial advisor. You don't have to sit right there to give it to you, sign in. No, nobody should pressure you to do that. That's not the rule. You can decide and say, okay, I want to take this thing to go and understand it. Probably you got your son who is a university student or who has graduated. Give it to your son. Look at this. Give it to your daughter. Especially ladies are smart. Give it to them to review and tell you all the small things. And then even if they are not giving you the full impact, but they tell you about it, go to the bank. What I went through this, what does this mean? What does this mean? Let them explain to you. If you are satisfied, you sign. In addition to that truth in lending regulation, also it's required of the banks to display their charges and all the fees that they attach to their services somewhere in the banking hall that is very conspicuous, so that anybody enters, you don't have to look for it. You are able to see it and say, okay, these are the charges. You can also go there and look at it. So all of these things central bank do, and central bank also used to do publication of charges of all of the banks. That was meant to inform the customers in order to make decision that, well, this bank charges this bank charges this. So you are able to say, probably I'll go to this bank, I'm going to deposit my money to this bank because the savings, interest rate on the saving is this much. Or I'll borrow from this bank because the interest rate on this bank after everything on average is this much. So that full disclosure, and this is part of central bank activity to empower the customers. We want you to be empowered in dealing with financial institutions so that you know exactly what sort of financial services to go for.
Director, I beg you, let's go to another question.
No, I wanted to add something to this full disclosure for the public to also be aware of it, because I don't know whether the banks are informing them We have another provision there called cooling off period. That gives a customer. So if I went to the bank to take the loan, and maybe I sign on that consent form, and probably I asked for a copy of that form and took it home. And then I had maybe a daughter or son that, as Mr. Thompson said, knows accounting, and they went through that form and they realized that probably the charges on that form were very high. I have a period of 10 days, 10 working days to decide to take that loan or terminate my agreement with the bank. And the bank has to abide by it. So if in the 10 working days, I can go back to the bank, having signed that form, I can go back and say I came to terminate this agreement. Once I have not taken the money. Yeah.
That's good. Well, how well protected is our consumer's account information, so that it is not compromised? Because there are complaints by some consumers of unauthorized withdrawals from their accounts. Are those accounts well protected?
Well, the accounts should be well protected. Absolutely, they should be, and this is the reason why, in terms of protection of the account, you have to make sure that after what we've just explained, you've gone through all of that, you be aware of all of the charges. Sometimes customers go to the bank, I want to take loan. President say, okay, we'll give you loan. Everything you need to do is maybe 15% or 16% your interest rate. That's all they tell the person. And even if you have a savings account, to operate a loan, many times banks open current account for the servicing of the loans. And the current account also carry end of month charges. That's supposed to be explained to you. So some of these things are not explained. Even if it's not a loan, if it's just a deposit account, sometimes the bank should inform you, or you should make sure you ask all of the questions. SMS alert go to people. That also attract charges. They also tell you about their digital platform, digital financial services that they're doing, ATM, e-money, e-banking, electronic banking, mobile money, all of that. Some of the bank charge lump sum, some charge based on transaction. So all of these things are supposed to be explained to you, and you gave your consent by signing that form. So sometimes all of these things are on that form, but because you did not read it and you just signed it, and they only told you your interest rate is 14%, and so you just accepted it. These are some of the things that are responsible. But you see, and our advanced customers, it's good to get the SMS alert. I see most banks charge like $1 for it per month. It's good to get the SMS alert so that whatever transaction that go on your account, savings account for example, even if interest is deposited on your account, you'll be able to see it. If the bank apply the interest on your account or put the interest in your account, so you are able to see it. That is important for people to access that SMS alert. But there are banks that will also take money from you on the SMS. They don't send the SMS to you. In that case, ask the bank to put back all of the money they've taken from you. It has happened to me before. Bank charged me. I did not receive the SMS. I'm a customer of the bank. This part, my working with the central bank, I wrote the bank and filed my complaint, and it was addressed. So it's good for customers to always, like we just explained, you go to open an account, you want to take loan, make sure you ask for all of the information. Now, additionally, I also want to say that Central Bank has regulations, guidelines, and other policies on all of these activities. Visit the Central Bank website. If you can't find a way, go to the Regulation Supervision Department. We are there. We'll definitely tell you this is the regulation. We'll give you the regulation. If you want to ask specific questions, we'll be able to respond to you.
I heard you say something about compromising.
Yes.
Yeah.
How well protected is our consumers' account information so that it's not compromised?
Okay, so I would just like to add on that. When we're dealing with, like Mr. Donson said, digital payments, ATMs and POS. Sometimes customers try to compromise their own PIN code and passwords. So I think maybe the help desk officers, the front desk officers at banks too, who explain, or at other financial institutions who explain to the customer not to compromise the ATM PIN code, because sometimes you might not know how to use that ATM, and then you ask somebody, oh, please go withdraw for me. So maybe the withdrawal and you're not receiving SMS alert, that withdrawal that person did for you, maybe it could be more than what you intended them to withdraw. So you gave them your password and they go to the ATM to withdraw for you. So these are some of the things that customers could face, on the accounts being compromised as well.
But officially,
Yeah.
confidentiality is a hallmark of this profession. So you go to the bank is under obligation to keep all of your information secret, unless by court order or by law. Now the law there is that central bank, as the regulator, has the right to ask for any information. The bank cannot say no. That's one. Another law also says that banks can send information to the FIU, the Financial Intelligence Unit, and that information has to do with cash transaction that you do at the bank, or if they see that a transaction is suspicious for money laundering purpose, they send it. And this information comes from just the compliance officer who need to the FIU. Even the central bank is not involved with that because of this whole issue of money laundering, to make sure that no criminal is exploiting the financial system.
This is Money Matters on ELBC Radio, coming to you live. This program is aired the first and last Wednesdays of every month. It is sponsored by the Central Bank of Liberia and produced by the Communications Unit of the bank in collaboration with the Liberia Broadcasting System. Our guests today are from the Regulations and Supervision Department of the CBL. We're looking at consumer protection. Later on, we'll be opening the lines so that you can participate on the program. The numbers, we're not opening them now, but we're just giving you the numbers in advance. The numbers are 0776 278 0776 278 or 088 886 1387 088 886 1387. Do not call now because we are not accepting your calls now. We want to go back to our guests. They will be adding one or 2 points. And before we go to them, let's give them the numbers. You gave us the numbers last week, Erica, of the Consumer Protection Line. It is 077-510-670. 077-510-670, or you can call 088-110-670. 088-110-6706. That is if you want to call the central bank, just in case you have a complaint or you have an issue. And our website is www.cbl.org. www.cbl.org.lr. Let's get it straight. www.cbl.org.lr. Let's go back to Directors Donzo and Williams. Consumers have often complained, have had problems actually with customer service representatives whenever they report concerns. How does the CBL get such reports from consumers, and how does the CBL handle such reports? I mean, any one of you can take it. Either Erica.
Okay,
you
let me
you
begin.
can take it first. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Most complaints concerning customer service calls come from digital payments. Let's say mobile money providers.
Okay.
Those are and if you we receive these reports. We receive reports from these providers, monthly reports from these providers, but these reports do not come to the central bank. there are complaints that I mean these complaints do not come to the central bank individually. So there are complaints that are handled maybe within an hour, within a day or 2 days, maybe probably a week. Because if you see on the complaint report that we receive, we have time that the complaint was settled. So we do review them and see that when those complaints are settled. And these complaints come in bulk. It's like sometimes you recall if you had an issue and you call there at the call center to maybe state that, oh, I forgot my pin code, or I mistakenly transfer money to another number. Those are some of the complaints. Right there, maybe they will block that number to intervene. They will block the number that you made that transfer to. So most of these complaints are being settled. We have not had a situation wherein someone will say, I mistakenly transfer money from my mobile account to another mobile account, and they did not resolve it. Most of these complaints have been settled by the mobile money entities. So we don't receive them at the central bank. We only receive the reports.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just add. So like Mrs. Williams said, right? So if at the central bank we receive two kind of complaints. She mentioned the report. That is the consumer complaint report that banks sent to us. All of the complaints they receive during the month, how they resolve it or what the status, they send that report to us every month. And this kind of complaint, like complaint against customer service, you see that in those ones most often because the bank endeavors to resolve them.
Okay.
There are other complaints that come to us, because we are aggrieved, you come to the central bank for redress. But in terms of customer service, probably we should just say one thing. In Liberia, we need to work on customer service, not just at the bank, but almost all aspects of activities in Liberia. And you'll see that companies that have good customer service, you will see them thriving because people feel pleased to go to them because the way they are being treated by customers. Yeah. So it's important that banks make sure that they put more focus on customer service. That is important, so that your customers will not complain in terms of services they receive from your frontline officers. But frontline officers need to know that they are there to provide service. They are not doing favor for people. They are there to provide service, and they need to do that. But the good thing is most of these complaints, almost all of them, are resolved at the level of the bank. They don't just reach to the central bank. Only report come to us in terms of the resolution.
That's important to state, Mr. Donzo. Okay, we're now ready to take your calls. The numbers here are 0776 278 255, 0776 278 255, 0888 861387, 088861387. Our guests will take down the notes and then later on they will respond to your calls. Hello, this is Money Matters on the LBC. Welcome to the program. Okay, thank you very much. How can people in the rural areas enjoy these facilities? Hello, welcome to Money Matters. go back to the telephone lines and take a few more calls. Mr. Dunzu, you want to start, or Erica, you want to start? Go right ahead.
Okay,
Yes.
so we will pick on different aspects of the question. So someone asked that someone called from Grand Jide and said that everything we are saying they are good, but they are all in Monrovia, and that's true. They are largely in Monrovia, but central bank is actually working to address that. And the last time we appeared, we mentioned that central bank, in collaboration with some partners, is about to automate the whole complaint process.
Break
So,
it down.
Ultimate.
yeah, okay, yeah. I'm going to come there. When we say automate the complaint process, what the central bank wants to do is that you don't have to be in Monrovia to file a complaint, and you don't even have to write like formal letter to the central bank to file a complaint. What the central bank is doing, and very soon this is going to come, you are going to use SMS, text message, the button phone. You can use that because central bank will come up with something when this system is installed. There will be a number that you can go to. When you send a text message to this particular number, the bank that you are complaining, the bank will receive it and the central bank will receive it. And the bank will have about 5 days maximum to reply to you. And then if the bank does not reply to you, that system will also tell central bank the bank has not replied, and central bank will intervene from there. Because the whole complaint process, you first have to go to the bank and lodge your complaint with the bank, and the bank should address it. If the bank does not address it, or you are not satisfied with what the bank has done, then that's when you come to the central bank. So those in the rural area, very soon they'll be able to file complaint against bank branches that they're dealing with in the rural area through this system that the central bank is going to bring. And like I said, it's not something difficult, it's not sophisticated, it's not difficult. You can take your button phone and do text SMS with it, and then we'll receive it and we'll make sure that your complaint is resolved.
Okay, so let's go to
very
the other
soon
issue
we'll
because we
get
want to make sure we get back to the telephone line. So let's try to
Yeah,
summarize
the
some
second
of these
one,
points.
Nelson Swakoli from Red talking about central bank should set like a ceiling for interest rate that banks should not go above, but they can come below. Yes, Nelson, some time ago, central bank had ceiling for interest rate. And what we observe is that almost all of the banks begin to charge that ceiling. So we say, no, the way this is, let the market forces decide. If a bank want to attract more customers, they should reduce their interest rate. And besides, if you as a customer go to the bank and you've been a very good customer to the bank, you should be able to negotiate with the bank, say, look, even though you're charging other people 18%, but I want 12% because you're a good customer, you bring a lot of money to the bank, your cash flow is good, your risk profile is low, the bank should be able to do that. So we don't want to set a ceiling where some people will be charged high interest rate because central bank already set the ceiling when they can in fact negotiate. And because what we'll see, a bank will say, no, but this is the rate central bank has. So it's good for you to negotiate. Central bank should not get involved with your negotiations so that you have a lot of leverage. You have more power to deal with the bank and convince the bank to reduce your interest rate. This is what central bank is doing. So we are not setting interest rate, but we'll make sure that we publish all of the rate to you to give you information to deal with the bank. In terms of the printing the money, central bank is on the process. The legislature approved this thing, I think, about 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I will not be exact on that. But central bank is on the process. Central bank has a committee responsible for this. And this committee will be informing the public as time goes by. And very soon the committee will start to come to the public to tell the public where we are and what to expect and all of that. And we don't want to speak to that because the committee will be able to give better information when they come to inform the public on that.
Erica, you want to take off from where?
Okay, so the caller from Greenville concerning the passbook. He talked about Bank of Liberia and passbook, giving his balances. I just want to let him know that digital payment is involving with the whole issue of technology right now. We are moving from that manual style of banking, which was something like a primitive way of banking where you go to the bank and then they print The teller sometimes write, if the printer not working, they will write in your book. And looking at the population, how many persons you'll be able to serve if a teller had to, print all in your book and what have you. So with the coming in of the digital payments, e-payments, SMS, the mobile phones, and all, we thought it wise to change from that manual way to go digital. So most banks, if you see now, they give you SMS Elite. The moment you transact at your bank, before you can even walk away from the counter, the SMS goes to your phone. So we want to encourage him, to sign up whichever institution he's banking with, sign up for that SMS. The moment he can turn around to leave, he will receive a SMS alert. And with that SMS alert, I can assure him nobody can steal from his account. Because whatever, if that midnight, any transaction go on your account, you hear that phone beeping, it will give you a light. So even with bank charges, sometimes you'll be even able to see when the bank take monthly charges from you. They deduct their money charges from your account. It comes on the SMS alert. So it's very good, and it's better than going to withdraw that day and then they just print your balance and then you don't even know the charges that have been taken out of your account.
Good. Some other callers also talk about all these benefits. They are not in the rural areas. You want them to open accounts to deposit money at the bank, but they don't have banks in those areas. So how do you address that problem? They also talk about mutilated money. When they go to the banks, they still get the same old money back. So let's try to summarize them so that we can.
Yeah, somebody said that they prefer saving with the Susu Club. Since there's no bank in Vonchema. I think the last time we were on in studio, we mentioned that we have like 3 RCFIs in Lofa. So we want to encourage him to utilize the rural community finance institution. We want you to encourage you to utilize mobile money. You can save on your mobile wallet as much as you can. You can save using your mobile account. That phone, it get missing, you still have your account stored as long as you know your password and you have registered with the institution. So we want to encourage you. You can save your money. You can deposit your money in your rural community finance institution and put it on your mobile account and have it saved in your mobile account. So
how can someone just send a text message? You say, how can a family member benefit from a deceased account, a mobile money account, when he or she or the family doesn't know the PIN number for that deceased relative?
So if you have an account or your deceased, somebody you related to passed away has an account, whether it's mobile money or bank account, you write the bank. This person has account with you, and you know the person has account. This person has account with you, and this is my family person, and the person has passed away. And write the bank with the death certificate from the hospital or from anywhere. Write the bank with the death certificate. The bank will be able to look into it. And if the bank doesn't look into it, come to the central bank, because that money is not for the bank. Come to the central bank, and we will write the bank. The bank will look into it. And whenever you go to open an account, there's always next of kin. So the bank will make determination who is the next of kin. So if that next of kin is not available, then it means that person has to come. Unless that person is also dead, then another person will step in. But definitely you'll get money. And same goes for mobile money companies. And someone talk about mutilated bank note. And these are some of the reasons. Mutilated bank note, not getting your money, these are some of the reasons why central bank is about to print new money. And we said information will come. Because central bank has not printed money for a long period of time, and the lifespan for most of the bank notes 3 to 4 years, 5 years maximum. And central bank has not printed money for a long period of time. The money that came very recently was the 500 bank note, which is still good, but all the other money, the bank more than 4 years, they've actually passed their lifespan, so they are mutilated. These are some of the reasons why central bank is talking about printing the new money, and we say the committee will inform them, accordingly. Somebody say the driver, yes, you have driver. Banks can give any kind of loan as long as you have established relationship with them and they know you very well and they have assessed your ability to pay, definitely they will give you loan.
Let's see whether we can take just one or two more calls. I know you wanted to come in.
The last caller.
Hello, Money Matters on ELBC Radio. Good morning.
I will start with Bill, the last caller. Um, Concerning the ATM cards and charges. Okay, if you went to an ATM to withdraw from a bank and probably they said no money or the ATM maybe it was down, you move and go to another ATM because we all do that. It's not that a whole month or a whole week you won't obtain money from an ATM. So probably money was not in the ATM today, but it might be there maybe this morning, but it might be there later on in the afternoon. So if you went to an ATM and that ATM did not have money, it doesn't mean that all month, because he's talking about monthly charges on a customer account and there's no money in the ATM. I don't think it's like that. You know, it's regrettable that you might go to an ATM and don't find cash. But however, if you don't find cash there in the morning, you'll find it in the afternoon or maybe in the evening. Most people go there in the evening because it's when they will re-stuff the ATM, with the money before they go home for the day. So it's good to go there in the evening, but it's not that money is not in the ATM at all, except that ATM is down.
Okay.
I just want to clarify that.
Thank you.
So in terms of okay, Abraham said to talk about central bank collaborating to establish, branches of LBDR. As a matter of fact, LBDR it's not owned by central bank. So LBDR, government has ownership and other people have ownership. LBDR is not owned by central bank. So central bank will not establish the branch. But what central bank has done, which we mentioned the last time, is central bank is creating, the environment that will encourage banks to move in counties that don't have branches currently. For example, central bank just built a cash hub to Bond County. That should be able to encourage banks to move into Lofa to establish branch, because the branch in Lofa can only be able to come to Bond County instead of all the way Monrovia to come for cash. So central bank is going to build additional hubs in areas close to areas that don't have bank branches, so banks will be encouraged to move there. This is what the central bank is doing, but central bank will not establish branches. Well, even some of these counties that don't have branches will get the rural community financial institutions that are located in these areas. Citizens in those areas can also deal with these people. And customer service, like we said, customer service is a major issue at the banks, which we ourselves sometimes go through. But it's always good that if the customer service person does not treat you well, sometimes it's not at the knowledge of the management. Make sure you escalate it and tell our customer service, look, I'm going to go to your management. We all have to force them to do their work. They're not doing favor for us. That is the fact. They're not doing favor for us. But I can tell you, there are banks, the customer service is at the very top. And you see these banks having more customers because their customer services are good. So those ones that will poor customer services, they are suffering. People don't go to them. And this is the case.
The voice of Mr. Fonzia Donzo, the Director of Regulation and Supervision at the Central Bank of Liberia. Earlier you heard that of Madam Erica Williams. She's the Deputy Director for Supervision and Surveillance at the CBL. The CBL is on this medium with Money Matters the first and last Wednesdays of every month. Thanks for listening to the program. We'll be back again next time. This has been a CBL production sponsored by the Central Bank of Liberia, produced by the Communications Unit of the CBL in collaboration with the Liberia Broadcasting System. My name is Cyrus Badio, your presenter. Thanks for listening and have a pleasant day.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir.